Okay, I believe I am live. Give us the usual thumbs up, guys. Let me know I'm visible and hearable. Can anybody hear me? Oh, we've got the 40-year-old vegan, so the Canadians are still up. Thank heavens we've got some Canadians, because I know it's an early stream for me this time. Someone give me an okay if they can hear me, see me. And then we will proceed. Double trouble. Yep, can hear you. Thank you, Gawain. So let's have a look who's joined us. We've got Gawain, we've got Satan Inside, we've got I'm Easy Vegan. Look at Satan Inside's channel. He's away with the channel now. Gawain has also got a channel. Please go over and have a look at his channel. I'm Easy Vegan, of course, you know, has got a channel. UK Vegan Family, Daniela and Adam, hello there. Muddy Paws getting cleaned. Keep telling you. The 40-year-old vegan. Hope he's not still a virgin. So yeah, we're all good, mate. So basically, today I have Peace with Rhys, but I also have a special guest who I will bring on a little later. Peace with Rhys, as you know, is an extremely privileged, well-off guy. He originally lived in a mansion in Wales. He's actually DM'd me and told me that he thinks he's related to King Arthur. He lives in a mansion with, I think he's got about 50 bedrooms. And yeah, he lives the life of luxury. But he's decided to slum it, and he's decided to go over to Thailand and see how the poor people live. And that's basically it. But of course, Peace with Rhys has got a YouTube channel. He's got some great content. So if you guys get a minute, please go over and subscribe to Peace with Rhys. I'm not going to tell you who the special guest is, but he has been on my channel before, and he has got an amazing story. But we're not going to go through that story. There is a video, which I will link later on. We've got some new joiners, some late ones. Level Joy, hello there. Oh, God. So anyway, let's bring on the posh boy. Let's bring on this privileged, rich. Yes, let's bring him on. Hello,
such an ass. You're an ass, man. I can assure you I'm working class.
Yeah, we've heard it all before, mate. We've heard it all before. You keep thinking, hello, vegan gays. I knew you'd be on to. We can't rip the piss out of Rhys without vegan gays being here.
Yeah.
So Rhys, okay, joking aside, mate. You are how old now?
I'm 26.
26 years old. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Whereabouts did you grow up? What's your history before the vegan journey?
Okay, well, I'm from Newport in Wales, and it was a bit of a journey, to be honest. When I was 9 years old, I gave up eating meat apart from fish, because I believed that fish did not have feelings at that time.
Okay, so let me just ask, what prompted you? Nine years old, when like your biggest sort of ambition is to build a tree house or go out and do the world's biggest ramp on your BMX bike. What prompted that, mate?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. I don't actually remember changing. I don't remember giving up meat. But my mum says that we were on holiday abroad in Spain, and I saw some chickens being having their necks cut.
Wow.
You know.
So you saw the truth.
Yeah, and that was enough.
Wow, you know, and that speaks volumes, doesn't it? If children see the truth, it doesn't traumatize them. It prompts them to make a decision in life.
Absolutely.
They don't want to be responsible for that shit. Wow. So, 9 years old, you decided to go vegetarian, pescatarian.
Yeah, pescatarian. Yeah. I think at that time I was kind of religious. I'm not anymore. But at that time, I thought, Jesus ate fish, so it's okay for me to eat fish.
Yeah, fish, bread, and wine. Mm.
Yeah. Although I'm not going to swear to it, but I believe, like, if you actually translate now, he didn't eat fish and it was seaweed. I don't know.
Well, we can say what we want because it's all just
Well-
written there for our own. We can make of it whatever we want, can't we? Because every bugger else does. They make it suit themselves.
Absolutely.
I'm not knocking anybody who's religious. If you've got a faith, then hands up to you. You enjoy that faith. But that book is just been diluted, changed, translated, and people can just twist it any way they want. So yeah,
Absolutely. And I also think that, back in those times, 2,000 years ago, we probably did have a need for fishing. Whereas now, we can pop to the shop, we can get Via Life cheese and, anything you want.
yeah,
You don't like
definitely.
that.
I'm just like the only cheeses I've ever enjoyed is from those ones I tried from La Fromagerie in London, and it was like £8 a block, and it was Blue Stilton because I missed my Blue Stilton.
This is vegan cheese.
Vegan cheese, yeah, and it was amazing. It was amazing, but it's like £10 for packaging and posting because it comes in a refrigerated box, with the ice packs and everything.
Okay.
So it's like, for 3 blocks of cheese, it cost me about £20, but oh my god, it was worth it, mate.
It's like a Christmas Eve type of thing.
Oh, it's a once a year thing. Oh, hang on 1 second. Let me just switch these blinds.
Sure. So Grumpy Vegan Grandad messaged me before he came up.
Yeah, you were just about to start getting some revenge on me then, weren't you?
Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah.
So 9 years old, you went pescatarian.
Yeah.
And so do you remember any feedback from your mum and dad? Did you have both parents?
Yeah, I had
up?
both parents. They were together at that time. And I don't remember when it started, but they have been supportive through, while I grew up. Always supported me being vegetarian, always bought me the alternatives and stuff. And they always made 2 separate meals. When I was 12, I want to say, I went full vegetarian then. I gave up the fish.
Right.
And the reason for that was that I had a crush on a girl who was vegetarian. Yeah. And I asked her, do you eat fish? And she said no. So I thought, okay, I need to stop eating fish. So that was the reason for that.
So you basically gave up fish for oats.
Yeah, exactly. But she wasn't interested anyway, so I gave up the fish for nothing.
Oh, it wasn't for nothing, mate. You know that. It wasn't for nothing. I think that was like a little sort of sign from Jesus.
Oh,
it
yeah.
It was a little sign from Jesus. You know what I mean? Right. So we're rolling along now. We're getting to 14, 15. How did your school go? How did you find it? Did you suffer at school because you were vegetarian? Did you get brain fog and fail all your exams because you weren't getting dead animal parts stuffed into your body?
You know what? I think it would have gone a lot smoother if I wasn't so preachy, So I was vegetarian, and I was vegetarian for the animals because I didn't have all this knowledge about what goes on in dairy and eggs, right? And I was telling my friends, because I thought, my friends are good people. They value the same sort of things I do. They probably don't want animals to die. So I'm going to inform them. But I just found myself in arguments every lunchtime. And at one point, somebody put bacon on my locker for a bit of a joke. I remember quite vividly. Although I understand for them, it was just a joke. Because they don't think of it in the same terms that I do. But that's just one instance that stuck out for me. Other than that, being vegetarian as a teenager never caused any problems for me. When I was 16, I started to learn a little bit more about dairy and eggs. And I did go vegan then. I started for Lent, but I carried it going for 1 year. And actually, at the end of that year, embarrassingly, I did give up being vegan, which is something not many people know. So that's a little exclusive.
Well, maybe. I mean, it's one of those things. You're 16. You're still not comfortable with yourself. There's a lot going on in your life. You've got exams. You've got peer pressure. We're talking 10, 15 years ago now. 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah.
10 years ago, it wasn't easy to even be vegetarian 10 years ago. It was still a grind unless you was a proficient cook,
Yeah.
So, So you did it for the right reasons, but peer pressure, life, and and it's
I
nothing
think
to
it was
be
like
ashamed of.
yeah, I think it was more of like convenience, really. Like I didn't mind that I was different, but I did mind that I couldn't easily get things I wanted. As a teenager, I was getting like £5 a week pocket money, and I think at that time, like vegan cheeses and stuff like that was quite an expensive thing. And I would get drunk a lot. I was 16. I was drinking a lot at that time, and when I was drunk, I was eating cheese pizzas, and then I was doing that so much, and I was just like, oh well, I'll give up then, because I didn't know any vegans, and I think if I did, then I would have stuck with it. I would have had someone to talk to.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
I mean, was it lonely? Was it a lonely existence? Did you feel isolated, or did you search out other? Was Facebook about then? I can't remember when Facebook started.
Yeah. Facebook was around then.
Did you join groups? Did you build up a circle, or did you stick with your original friends?
I stuck with my original friends. I didn't know of anyone who was vegan,
Mm-hmm.
But I did join PETA 2, which is PETA sort of teenagers sort of.
Oh right, I
didn't
even know they had that section. Right, okay.
Yeah, they call it something else now, but I don't know.
Oh right, okay.
So I ordered like T-shirts, like just says like "fuck meat" and stuff like that. Stickers to put places and things, but so that was nice. I didn't really have support, but I had sort of resources that showed me like I'm not the crazy one. You know what I mean?
The one in white seems far more mature, though. Yes, well, I'm only 16 in my head. Race lever. My God. Every time. At me. I don't know why they pick on me. You can pick on Rhys now. Posh boy here.
No need.
What are you doing?
I remember when I did go vegan at that time, my mum took me to see a doctor because she believed it wasn't healthy.
Right. And
the
of course,
doctor
can help. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
What did the doctor say?
No, to be fair, the doctor said that it's perfectly healthy.
Wow, that's unusual.
Yeah, and this is 10 years ago.
That's very unusual. Oh my God. Wow. So the doctor said he's fine. So did your mum accept that and you carried on?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So from that point at 16, you've been vegan ever since?
No, sorry. I was vegan for 1 year.
Right, okay. So when did you you dropped out? We've established it's a young age to be doing stuff like that. It's hard. It was 10 years ago. But when did you drop back into it, Rhys?
Just last year. Towards the beginning of last year.
And what prompted the change in heart?
So since around 2016, 2017, I had really sort of deep depression. Right? I had it before, but it was manageable. But I fell into deep depression off the back of a breakup. So I was sort of struggling with that, and slowly I was getting better. And eventually then, sort of the December, maybe November, before I went vegan, I did seek out help. I got medication. I talked to a therapist. And then I started to feel better. So because I was feeling better, I was able to focus on the things I want to improve in my life. And in my heart, I was always vegan, even if my actions weren't following that. So that was one of the first things I did. I went fully vegan.
Okay, so that's really interesting. It is, and it's a funny one, isn't it? That you took. I mean, depression is one of those things where it consumes you, and nothing else matters in life. So I can understand why over the years you weren't interested in anything else. You weren't interested in anymore. It just like you've got to be you're self-consumed, aren't you? And it's a tough one. I mean, I have had bouts of it myself, and it's not a nice place to be in, and it's certainly not a place that you can give empathy to anybody else because you're just so isolated and in a very, very dark place. So I get it, mate. I get
Absolutely.
it. So what about your education? So what did you do? You left school at 16? You went into a factory, or what did you do?
I said I'm working class. I am, but I carried on. I left school at 18, and I went to university in Aberystwyth, and I did film and television. Really lovely place.
Yeah, it is Aberystwyth.
I did film and television studies
Oh,
as a
really?
BA.
Did you? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I came out of that, and I found it's very, very difficult to get a job in television. I had a few friends who managed to do it. They managed to get into BBC Wales. And I think one of the reasons for that is they're bilingual and I'm not. It's a really big help if you want to get on television in Wales.
Yes.
So I went to China, as you do, to do some teaching for 6 months. I say teaching like that, I had like no training, and I really shouldn't have been a teacher. And if you come to Asia, you'll see a lot of the teachers here are just like that. But I discovered I loved it, so I decided to pursue that. So I went to Austria to do some teacher training. And then I came to Thailand. And I worked here for 1 year as a teacher. And then I went to Manchester and I did my master's in teaching English. And then we had COVID, and now I'm here.
Sweet. So you are actually in Thailand now. You are in Bangkok right now speaking to us. It is,
Yeah.
What is it now? About 10, 11 o'clock?
Yeah, 10:15.
10:15 in the evening there. Right. So how are you finding Thailand?
It's hot.
It's hot and moist. It's hot and
Yeah.
moist. And how's the food? What's it like for a vegan in Thailand?
Surprisingly, fairly easy. There's vegan restaurants all over the place. It's not as easy as it is in the UK, obviously. The UK, I think, is the best in the world for vegan food. I found one brand of vegan cheese. I tried it today and it was disgusting, to be honest. But there are vegan restaurants all over the place. You can get vegan meats in the supermarket. It's like being in the UK 10 years ago, I think, for vegan food.
Okay. But you've got a lot of fresh produce, a lot of fresh fruit, a lot of, oh, my guest has popped off. Oh, my God. I was just about to bring him on. He's disappeared. What the hell? So what's the plans for the YouTube channel? You're producing content out there, I assume, on a laptop. How are you finding it? How are you finding the internet where you actually living? What's going on?
Yeah, so I'm in Bangkok. The internet's amazing, actually. It's like 150 down, like 100
Wow.
up. And I think in the UK, if you've got good internet, it's about 30.
Well, I'm on 200.
Oh, fair play.
Virgin Media. But yeah, it is good. Always back. Right. Well,
Okay.
listen. Let's bring on my little surprise guest, because we're gonna tell you all about this guest. He's gonna explain about his life, because he's over in Thailand as well now at the moment, which he promised he was going to do. He had a big struggle getting over there. And he actually he got the proceeds from something I will tell you about, and he managed to do a fundraiser to get himself and his son, who is Thai, half Thai, back over there home. And hopefully you two guys are going to link up somewhere along the line, because it would be a shame not to.
Yeah.
But let's bring on my little guest here now, who is Mr. Psycho Sid. How are you, Sid?
Hiya, mate. I'm buzzing, man. I'm sat in my tropical garden on my tropical island, and it's hot and moist, and I bloody love it.
Do you just want to introduce yourselves to the audience? A quick reminder of pre-Thailand, what you were all about, Sid.
Well, if we go back to just listening to the conversation with Rhys, I gave up eating animals when I was 5 years old, and I've not eaten meat ever since. I realised that animals were beings like us. They had emotions, feelings. They didn't want to die, so I couldn't eat them, and I never have done. I was the only kid at school who didn't eat meat, and the dinner lady would say, "Come on now, get your meat. You're not having any pudding. You won't grow up to be a big, strong lad." I just walked away with my plate, and as they rolled their eyes and shrugged their shoulders, and I grew up to be quite a big, strong lad. Well, besides that,
can I interrupt, Sid? How old are you now, mate?
Me, I'm 64 now.
64. So you 60 years you've been like vegetarian, vegan.
But for the femme
Wow.
fatales out there, I'm still 18 in my heart and 21 in the bed, so don't worry about that vegan power.
Correct,
Yeah,
buddy.
so basically, I realised early on that I wasn't going to work in a shit office or a factory, and I joined the League Against Cruel Blood Sports, but I needed to be free, so I ended up travelling around the Far East, China, Thailand, taught English, was a filmmaker, managed a sugar company, that kind of stuff. Learned the language, read and write it, so I'm not as daft as I look, really. And everything was hunky-dory by 2012, January. I was married to a stunning woman. I was earning serious money as a filmmaker, bought a house cash, bought SUVs cash, living the vegan lifestyle. And in the blink of an eye, I've got terminal cancer. I'm back in England. They've given me 6 months to live. Inoperable, stage 4. You're going to be brown bread in 6 months. My mum died, my missus pissed off another bloke and left me with 2 kids, 14 and 4. So I was in the brown and nasty, really. And I refused to die. I thought I just had organic fruit and veg, and I lived. I wrote a book, The Death and Life of Psycho Sid, Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo, which is what you say when you get terminal cancer. I don't have a publisher, I don't have anyone, I just self-published. About 3,000 copies have gone. So, oh, there's me, there's my ugly mug. And it's done quite well. I'm writing book 2, Staying Alive. So, what happened is I couldn't escape. I was stuck on benefits in Blackpool, and all my followers put together. A bloke started a fundraiser, put together. I ended up coming out here with my 11-year-old son at the time, and they flew my Staffordshire Bull Terrier as well. And here we are now on a tropical island. I'm having adventures every day. So it's all good. I can answer anything you want.
Oh my God, wow, I'm so sorry that happened, Psycho Sid. You look great for 64 too. There you go.
Yeah,
You're
will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? And don't,
the Beatles.
And don't tell me to up my age, you know. You can only say that when I'm 69.
So, Rhys Lever says, so he beat the cancer.
Yeah.
Well,
the doctors were astonished. It was just pure raw vegan diet. Just the doctors were astonished. And here I am, alive and kicking in the land of grins, or the land of smiles.
Listen, I'm just going to share something with the people out here. Just 1 second. Where are we? There we go. Share the audio. Now, this is a TED Talk you did. And I'm just going to play a little bit of it.
In fact, it's an absolute miracle that I made, because in April 2012, I was diagnosed with inoperable mouth cancer, stage 4, and given just 6 months to live. I couldn't believe it. What's happening? Before the cancer, I was a filmmaker. I was a world traveller, and my name is Psycho Sid. Now, why do you think I'm called Psycho? I'm not a nutter. I'm not Ed the Ball. I'm a nice, lovely, compassionate bloke. I'm a vegan. I love animals, non-confrontational. So I'll tell you why I'm called Psycho, because I was brought up on a council estate, and I was the only hippie. I was the only hippie, and I used to have long hair and go peace man, tie-dye t-shirts, bell-bottom jeans, Jesus sandals, far out, Pink Floyd, The Doors.
You're an absolute star, mate.
It must have been the Magic Mushroom director, and they're vegan as well.
Let's have a look. A lot of fatal illnesses can be reverted to dormants when you go vegan. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I was wondering this, Ellen. I've been trying raw till 4, so I'm intrigued. So, yeah, so you did practically go on a raw diet, Sid?
Yeah. I just thought, well, I'm going to be dead. I've got to fight, and I've put together. I took some herbal tonic, vitamins, supplements, all vegan, and basically survived on juices, beetroot juices, carrot juices, pineapple juices, all organic apples, oranges, and just kept banging it down me. And I'm still, miraculously, I'm still alive.
Well, it's not miraculously. You self-cured it, mate. But would you advocate people using a raw diet in everyday life?
I'm not a medical doctor, but as far as I'm concerned, our body's a system of tubes, and if we're thinking the processed food, things that are put in tins and added chemicals to give them a long shelf life, the aggressively pushing shite like KFC and McDonald's and other stuff, that's doing you no good. It's clogging it all up and clogging your cells up. We have a lymphatic system that is a waste system to get rid of all this rubbish through your colon, your kidneys, and your skin. And once it starts getting clogged up and your cells can't get rid of the waste, then they start to mutate, and that's where disease comes from. That is what I think. That is what I think anyway. And I tried juicing, but it got expensive. Well, it's dirt cheap here, so I'm all right. It won't cost me out in Thailand.
I'd like to add to that, Helen. Yeah, juicing shouldn't be a meal replacement. It should be a meal sort of accompaniment. Never replace. I mean, unless you're really overweight, it is a good way of replacing a meal because you're getting a lot of nutrients. But what I found is if you go to Asda or Tesco or one of the big supermarkets at about 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, just before they're about to shut, you can buy all the fruit for pennies. That's what I used to do. I used to get, when I was juicing, I used to go and get all the pears, a big bag of pears for 10p. You know, even if they're a bit off a brown, it doesn't matter. You're juicing them. You're just getting the juice out of them. It doesn't matter about the flesh. So there's my little tip.
And sorry, the question before, someone asked a question. Am I still raw vegan? No, but I will be probably from Monday. I've been, there we go, Summer. I've been in Thailand and mainly eating fruit, lots of fruit, dragon fruit and lamyai and all of these wonderful tropical fruits. But I've been tempted with the massaman curries with potatoes, and so I'm not really. But I intend to, within the next week, go completely frugarian. So it'll only be fruit for a while and go totally raw. And I think fruit's probably the healthiest thing you can put in your body. And I'm not bad for an old person. I've still got a bit of muscle there.
Correct, mate. Correct. You are a star, mate, and you.
A bit of a coffin dog, really.
Well, it doesn't matter, mate, because what you've been through, most people would have just given up. If most people, when they've given, you've got 6 months to live, they're on the bucket list doing what they need to do before they kick it.
Right.
So you know what I mean. So but you didn't
really, because I was dying of double death. I was dying of cancer, and I was dying of a broken heart because the one I trusted and believed just walked out. And I've said, well, hang on, I've only got 3 months to live now. I walked out and I had to bring up the kids. So maybe that spurred me on, like the kids had no one else. But I tell you what, the broken heart hurt more than the cancer.
Right. So, Rhys, have you got anything to add to that? Have you got any thoughts on what's been said? And
I'm really interested by the raw vegan diet, you know. I'm not sure why is there a difference between cooking the food and not cooking it? Or am I really just not understanding raw vegan?
Yeah, right. Well, I'll jump in there and then Sid can say his bit. But yeah, unless you really know what you're doing with a raw diet, I would not advise going on it. I would not advise anybody to try a raw vegan diet unless they research it. Just totally research it, because it can be quite dangerous. You can lose a lot of weight. It's hard to get the calories in. You do need starches for your brain and stuff like that. So you need your potatoes and even the do you remember the couple that you put me in contact with, the kayakers, Katia and what was his called? Said those two, they weren't totally raw, were they? But there is some advantages to a certain amount of raw fruit for recovery, because they're kayakers and they do all these tricks in the water. There's a video of mine on in my back catalogue now with an interview with them, and they do somersaults in this rapids, and they do get hurt and injured quite a lot. And they had an advantage over all the other kayakers. He was a world champion kayaker. They did get an advantage over it because the recovery is so much quicker. So there is, but they were not totally raw. They still do eat some cooked foods and some sprouted beans, for example. Sprouted beans is a bit like cooking. You sort of semi-digesting them by sprouting them, aren't you? But they reckon that's good for you anyway, sprouted beans. But I would personally say research like hell if you're going to go along this route. What about you, Sid?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, fruit is the most natural. We're basically, in my opinion, we're frugivores anyway. If we look at our teeth, although I don't have any, we took them all out when they had cancer. If we look at our teeth, our digestive system, and so many other things, we're very, very closely related to apes. And our major, we're natural fruit. We naturally should be eating fruit. Fruit is healing. It's alkaline. Or other stuff is generally acidic, which isn't good. I mean, we do have acid in our stomach, which is very powerful acid to break down the digestion. In my opinion, I agree with what my mate there says. If you go from a full-on diet of spuds and chips, and even if it's vegan, you know, a Linda McCartney sausage rolls, straight on to 100% raw diet, or especially a fruit diet, then you're asking for problems, because once you start healing, all the toxins will come out, and without researching about enemas and all sorts of stuff, you'll get what is known as a healing crisis, which is good because it's getting rid of things, but you could make yourself ill. I would recommend anyone that was thinking about going raw was obviously to research, and I've got a really good book about it. I'll go and grab it in a minute and show you. But you would have to transition, I would say. Don't suddenly one day be eating loads of stuff, the next just having mangoes, pineapples. No, you've got to be very careful. So you need to transition with sort of like spinach, and if you're getting healing crisis, things like baked sweet potatoes are very, very good. And there's a lot of different views, and depending, some people say certain foods, they do release more nutrients. Other viewpoints say actually cooking kills. Oh, someone lost me. I thought.
Yeah, it's very unusual for you.
So, I think I've never tried raw potatoes. I don't fancy them actually, but I've had a potato salad. Are they raw? When you get
no, because they cook them. They cook them.
Yeah.
They cook new potatoes for potato salad. Yeah.
Let me get that book. I'm just going to. It's only it.
Okay. So have you got any plans to link up with Sid in the future? Because I think he's quite a distance away from you at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. It's a bit of a flight, or I think it might be an 8-hour train or something. But you know, I've got a couple weeks coming up that we're free, so I may be able to pop down.
Let's have a look at this book, Sid.
This is, I think, one of the most interesting books I've ever read. A vegan in Blackpool gave it me. The Mucusless Diet Healing System by
Mucusless Diet.
And it's very, very good. And that's about things like intermittent fasting, and very interesting. It gives you a list of foods that when you transition, before you start going fully raw. Very, very good book. I think you can get it online.
So if you want to do it, you can find out a safe way to do it. A safe way to transition.
You know, I'd always ask people, yes. I mean, obviously, if you're in last chance to lose and you've got a few months to live, then okay, you know, go
all hands on deck, really, right?
And yeah, there it is.
There it is. It's on Amazon. So hang on, let me show me the other one. There's a boy right there. We go. Is that it? There it is. Let's try this. There we go. So that's a little bit more clear. £9. So yeah, if anybody's interested, get that book and have a nosy. See what you think.
So, as I say, I'm not a doctor. I mean, if someone's got 3 months to live and they go purely raw on fruit and maybe just red grapes, which seem to be recommended, well, they're in Last Chance Saloon anyway. So, and it worked for me. I can't say but all I can say it worked for me. And in my opinion, by eating mainly fruit, maybe some spinach, nuts, baked potatoes, I think you'll be a hell of a lot healthier. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think we're very. I mean, when you look at this whole. Yeah, but I mean, you look at our DNA. We're not that far removed from pigs. We're not that far removed from a lot of animals. It's a very, very sort of diverse thing, this relationship with animals, and we're pretty much all the same, really.
I agree that we are, right?
There's a bit of a conversation going on about potatoes now. People are going potato mad.
The comment. At least someone said they love me anyway. All right,
can you see the comments said? Yeah.
It's a poisoner. Well.
But I mean, there is some research says that that the reason our brains grew when we discovered fire was because of starchy vegetables, because it gave us access to those starchy vegetables. And once we eat root vegetables like that, it converts to glucose, and that's the reason, combined with living in a society and planning hunts and whatever, that's the reason our brains grew bigger, because we were getting way more glucose than any other animal. Otherwise, if it was meat, like some of the meat eaters claim, we'd have tigers and lions like programming computers for us and doing nuclear physics, obviously, because they eat way more meat than us. But that's not the reason. I'd like to move on a little bit. Sorry, Sid, go on.
Mate. No, I was thinking, the advent of fire, obviously, as the population, as humans who evolved in Africa moved out to colder climates where there wasn't an abundance of the natural foods of fruits, they had to eat things like starchy vegetables now, and also the advent of fire meant they could, if they killed an animal, obviously we don't have massive canines to tear into raw flesh like carnivores.
Philip Schofield does. Philip Schofield has massive ones.
All right, well, knock him out with your vegan elbow. Besides that, the fire meant they could cook the meat, which made it much easier to eat.
I think that's supportive, you, actually.
I try to avoid the wet markets, even when, I mean, if you're thinking of animal markets, when I'm out shopping in Thailand, I go to the local fruit stalls mainly, and I get to know them, and sometimes I'm lucky enough to get organic fruit, and it's very cheap. So I go to the local fruit stores. I've been in Asia a long time. I've passed markets with animals and flesh, but even when I was in the UK, I wouldn't feel comfortable walking down the meat aisles. I wouldn't just see slabs of meat. I'd see dead animals. I'd see dead cows and pigs. So I'd always try to avoid like that.
Yeah. What about you, Rhys? Do you come across wet markets?
I've never have. Are they in Thailand, Sid?
Well, I lived in Laos for a while. I'm sure actually on the island. I think I've only seen 2 small stalls that are butchers' stores. I've mainly seen fruit and veg everywhere.
It's a lot of like hanging meat. You've got a lot of street food going on and a lot of meat hanging up. Yeah, you can walk through a market and there's meat all over the place, but I don't think I've seen live animals for sale, except for in the supermarket sometimes.
Hiya, Easy Vegan. Supermarket, I haven't seen any live animals for sale in Thailand. I have seen them in China, southern China, Guangzhou, a long time ago.
I'm wondering if I'm confusing myself, because I've also been to China, and I know I saw it there in the supermarkets.
I think in Laos.
Maybe I'm just confused.
Do they have many? I mean, is it a big fish eating country as well, Thailand?
Yeah.
Pardon?
Is it a big fish eating country? Is it a bit like lobsters and crabs and?
Yes, a lot of seafood. There are a couple of veggie vegan restaurants on the island. Many now of the restaurants and the eateries, similar to the UK, have vegan options. And so things have changed a lot since my days. You're always welcome, Easy Vegan. I'll take care of you.
Well, listen, Easy Vegan, we're going to go into something in a minute that you might be very, very interested in, because what Sid has in mind of setting up, it's going to be amazing. So we're going to go into that. In fact, we're going to go into that right now, because this is why I brought Rhys on with Sid, because I couldn't get Sid on because we had problems with technology. We tried it a few times, we couldn't get it. So this is why I never announced. Yeah, this is why I never announced Sid coming onto the stream, because we didn't know whether we could get him on. But finally, we did it earlier in the week, didn't we, mate? So that's the reason why it wasn't advertised that Sid was coming on. So back in the UK, my video where I interviewed you in the pub in Blackpool, and you look pissed off and white and miserable. And you were talking about setting up a holiday company in Thailand, and you said that you was going to be like tours, seeing the wildlife. You were going to open a sanctuary. You were going to give free accommodation and a vegan experience to people visiting Thailand, totally free. Just get over there. They just did a bit of work for you. Is that all happening?
Well, things have changed, unfortunately, but there's still good news. When we did the interview in the pub in Blackpool, there wasn't the pandemic. Nobody could see that coming. And so everything changed, the tourist industry. So there was no point in me setting up a vegan tour company like I decided.
Yes,
and even the sanctuaries don't take volunteers or visitors at the moment. I'm connected, so I'm allowed to go, but people can't volunteer. But as things open up, then I may well consider designing a few vegan tours. But besides that, if anyone wants to come to Thailand, I'll sort it. I'll sort the visa, sort the transport, sort out all the vegan restaurants, get your dirt cheap places to stay. I can get your bungalow on the beach for, I don't know, 100 quid a week, 100 quid a month, or 150 quid a month. If you want a posh place with 3 bedrooms and a swimming pool, maybe 300 quid a month, 400 max, for a real proper mansion. But you'll be used to that anyway, Rhys, won't you, mate?
Oh, of course. Where am I getting it from Sid now? I only met you 20 minutes ago.
It'd be great to meet and visas, work. If you want to work, I can sort it all.
Yeah, I've got 10 days coming up in March where myself and my girlfriend are free. Nice. And we're talking about possibly coming down to Koh Lanta in that time. Maybe you could show me a thing or two. What can we do in that area? We can make some videos about veganism, helping the animals in that area.
Oh, that'd be great.
I can definitely get you into the animal sanctuary, Lanta Animal Welfare, and I'll show you the cats and dogs they rescue. And, I always fall in love with all of them and want to take them all over. But they do an amazing job. There are so many breathtaking beaches, jungles, and nearby islands. Rock is amazing. I went a couple of weeks ago, and huge monitor lizard. And now is the best time. No tourists. You've got absolutely Robinson Crusoe-esque beach with no one on, white sand, warm seas, and it's like, wow. Talking of Robinson Crusoe, I think I'm going to find a girl Friday soon, because I'm getting a bit fed up of doing all the mopping and cleaning. Now I lose.
I know.
Oh, Sid, you can't do that. I thought
cancelled.
I'm a soft as shite, me. I end up doing it all. And say, sit down, love. I'll do it. Well, sometimes.
Any questions for Sid or Rhys while we're going on now? Because I'm going to start looking at questions.
I've got a Staffordshire Bull Terrier that flew from Blackpool to Lanta. He goes out on jungle walks and he loves it. he can't believe it because he gets up in the morning, there's bloody monkeys in the trees, he's running round in circles, barking. Yeah, so I've got my Staffordshire Bull Terrier. May well take another one on soon, another dog, and maybe a cat too.
Because you speak the language as well, don't you, Sid? You speak very good
Yeah,
Thai.
so I did cap, pum chusid, pum penkun angit, pum kira by si far, DT sort nilo. Means I'm Sid from Manchester, and as a Rabbi Si Far means the blue sailing ships, which means Manchester City.
Is Sid's book available in the Netherlands? The Death and Life of Psycho Sid. It's
On Amazon. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon.co.uk. They'll post it to you. But if you're going to get it, don't just read the naughty bits, read it all. But you'll love it. A lot about veganism, spirituality, and I went through a nightmare.
He did. His story level, Joy, is amazing. It is just absolutely amazing. I think at one point, did you have a filmmaker interested in?
The book is with a filmmaker. He worked on Mission Impossible 3. He said the book's one of the most riveting reads I've had, and now he's filming somewhere in London. So that's a possibility. I have a friend, a vegan, who works with Hollywood films and blockbusters, and his job is to take care of the animals. So after the filming, they can say no animals. So he said your book is better than some of the films. So he's trying to push it as well.
Sweet, sweet. And you said I'm going to play you.
Well, you're going to play me.
Is that right? I've got to play you. Rhys.
Yeah, you could do. You're looking like me. You're in with a shout.
So, you are dating a Thai girl at the moment. Am I correct in believing that?
No, Chinese girl.
Chinese girl. Okay. So she's out there in Thailand with you?
Yeah, that's right. It's the reason I came back to Thailand, pretty much. I like it here anyway, but that was like the driving force to bring me back.
Maybe Rhys could make a video for his channel. I think he's talking about when you two guys meet up.
Yeah. I will give you an absolutely amazing video. I'll take you to all the vegan eateries. I'll take you into the jungle. I'll take you to some absolutely gobsmacking places. And I'll introduce you to some local vegans as well.
Absolutely perfect.
And all the fruits. We'll go to the market and we'll get all the unusual tropical fruits, and we can show your followers the different fruits, and we can try them.
Excellent plan.
How is veganism accepted with the Thai people? Is it a thing there?
Well, I've been in Thailand '88, working since '88. Thailand, Laos, China, especially in Thailand and Laos, they respect vegans. They respect vegans because veganism. Most of the vegan restaurants are linked to Buddhism and a spiritual thing, and so it's like, how can I say? If you're vegan, it's good. It's not like in the West like it used to be. Bloody vegans, tree-hugging, dirty hippies. No, here it's more like a spiritual thing. So you as a vegans are respected. Or Din J. Vegan in Thailand is J, like the letter J. Din is Din J. Mank Sawirad is vegetarian. Vegan is J.
J, as in the word, J.
J, like it's in the name J. Din.
Right.
Din, as in the letter J or the name J. J is vegan.
What I've been noticing with some menus, if they've got a symbol for vegetarian, one for vegan, and one for J, because there's only a small difference, isn't there?
Yeah.
A J person doesn't eat onions and garlic. I think roots they don't eat.
Yeah, and the symbol. So,
go on.
Here in the Netherlands, it's often shut upon.
Can be confusing. The thing that can be confusing is when they say vegetarian food, they actually mean vegan. So it's,
right.
And they're changing now though, but the symbol, which is A, and I'm not gonna piece of paper, I can do that. actually means vegan. But some of them don't eat onions, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm happy to answer any questions.
When I was in Turkey, they totally understand vegetarianism in Turkey. However, they do not get veganism. And the times that I got like what I thought was a vegan meal and it had milk or eggs in it, it was like, and cheese, and it's like, yeah, they're really on board with vegetarianism, but they do not understand veganism, which is, I find it really strange. Let's have a look.
Well, one thing you mentioned before.
In the Netherlands, it seems.
One thing you mentioned.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, mate.
Was about vegan cheese. Now, most people who transition from vegetarian to vegan struggle with cheese. Blue Stilton, cheddar, and all these kind of things. And a lot of the cheeses in the supermarkets, I mean, BioLife's okay, but I'm not going to be jumping and dancing. Yes, it's the best. It's amazing. But there are a couple of, when I did all of my inspirational talks, my mind, sweetheart, all those inspirational talks around the country, there were two cheeses that I found that were brilliant. My favourite was Thai cheese, white artisan cheeses. Now they're about £7 a box, but my goodness, they're absolutely delicious. And there was another company, White Rabbit cheeses. Those are special. But like you said, you got to pay for them £5, £6 for a small piece. Thai cheeses, White Rabbit cheeses.
And that's in the UK, is it?
Yeah, in the UK, Thai cheese, White Rabbit cheese. Very, very good cheese.
It's funny you should say that because I had White Rabbit. I had a White Rabbit focaccia bread with garlic. It was like a garlic focaccia. And
who's the posh boy now? Come on.
Touché, my friend. Touché. But that was lovely. Yeah, White Rabbit have got a really, really good reputation, but they're not the cheapest of things. But again,
Thai cheese was great. I don't know who's. I think it's stocked at a few places, but beautiful.
Yeah. So, what about general life in Thailand? What's it like out there at the moment, Rhys? How you finding it now? Just general life, like buying clothes, getting out there, getting your washing.
Oh, in terms of the pandemic?
Yeah.
I've seen no change really from last time I was here to this time, apart from people wear masks now. I think gym classes were cancelled for a while, but now they're back. I think restaurants can't serve alcohol. Maybe they're allowed to again. But I feel like I can just live my life without worrying about the pandemic at all. Really.
Who do you like better, Psycho or Peace? How can you ask us to distinguish between these two gentlemen? Wow. They're both equally,
I've not been called a gentleman for a long time, so I'm happy with
beautiful people. I will send you a DM about who I really like better.
Hopefully him, because I'm almost dead and gone. Regarding life on the island, people out in pubs, they watch a band, people hug together, people go swimming together, few people wear masks. Sometimes in like some of the shops, 7-Eleven, you're probably supposed to wear masks. Most people do. Besides that, nobody bothers. It's just normal. It's not. And I think in Thailand they've only had about 80 deaths anyway. Whether that's because of some people say it's because of the hot, humid temperatures and vitamin D. Others say it's because they're very strict in they closed all the borders and it's very difficult to get in. So I don't know.
Well, there's also a culture here.
There's
also a culture here that when you're sick.
He's a nightmare to try and get a word in. I forgot to warn you about that, Rhys. He can talk for bloody England. What you've got to do is interrupt him.
Oh. There's a bit of a culture like if you feel sick, then you wear a mask anyway, right?
Yeah, I think China are very much like that as well, aren't they? If you're feeling a bit ill, you wear a mask, and it makes sense really because It's so easy to. I mean, Rhys Lever, you're saying this mask nonsense needs to go, but yeah, to a point. But do you think we're going to learn our lessons from this, and maybe if we are feeling a little bit ill with a cold or a flu, or just not, I said the normal everyday viruses that we get. Would it not be a good idea to sort of wear a mask when you're ill, and then everything's fine? Because masks don't stop you getting anything. It stops you passing on, doesn't it? It stops because we don't realise that when we speak, there's millions of little crystals of water flying about everywhere, and mixed in with that is the microbes and the viruses and everything, and we touch things. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
I'll keep out of that because it's quite a controversial subject. Every time whether people wear masks or not wear masks, that's up to you. I'm not going to get involved. Maybe I should wear a mask. It might improve the looks.
Japan wears masks the moment flu season hits. Yes, if you look at other countries, big oof. Normal breathing is your body's most important function. It is. Do you really think that these masks stop normal breathing? I don't know.
Honestly, surgeons wear masks for like 12 hours, the same masks we're wearing day to day now. So I don't know. For me, I don't really think it inhibits your breathing very much. Maybe if you're exercising, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I do see guys in the gym with these masks on that restrict the breathing to apparently helps lung function, but I don't think that's yeah. They like it like a gas mask, and it restricts the breathing so that they have to work more when they do the cardio and draw more air and stuff like that.
No way.
Someone's disagreeing with you. Wrong, Rhys. You're wrong. You're wrong. Masks must be a nightmare for this conspiracy theorists with the security cameras watching every move. Yeah, I quite like the anonymity of wearing a mask, actually. I can grimace and pull my face at people, and they don't know I'm doing it half the time. So,
pop your sunglasses on as well, and people stop bothering you because of Veganville. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate you, Rhys. I really do. Answer to your question, I like Sid better. A lot better than Rhys now. He's just blown it for me. So Sidney, Psycho Sidney. So that's it now. You're in Thailand forever.
Well, yeah, I've no intention of going back. But who knows what's around the next corner? Life is very strange, and anything can happen. But I do intend to stay here. I presently visit the animal sanctuary once a week to help the cats and dogs, and hopefully if things open up more, it can then go into elephants and other creatures, gibbons, dolphins, turtles, and if I can do a bit to help them, that was the main focus. I'm writing books too. I'll be writing some ebooks about vegan guides to different places, the restaurants, and eco-friendly, and obviously no in my tours there'll be no elephant trekking or swimming with dolphins and all that bollocks. We don't. They deserve to be free. So
I watched your interview.
Compared. Pardon?
Go on. You finish.
I just think life's a lot easier out here. People are much more chilled. If someone pulls in front of you on a motorbike, both people smile and drive off. Whereas in the West, it's much more aggressive. Whereas here, it's much more laid back. And as they say, my pen ride. Never mind. That's the most common phrase. That's okay. Never mind. In Laos, it was Bo Pen Yang, which is a similar language. Never mind. So it's a much more relaxed. Okay, that's me. I'll shut me.
I think you're right there.
Thank you.
You were just talking about you wouldn't go on a dolphin tour. I was watching your interview when Grumpy Vegan Grandad was telling me about you. I watched your interview together, and you were talking about if you do a tour, you would go near the dolphins in the sea, have a swim, and then it's up to the dolphins if they want to join you, right? I think that's a really cool idea.
And I thought, well, yeah, because the dolphins are free. Obviously, don't drive over a pie, jump in the sea.
Yeah.
And if the dolphins want to come and see you and have a play, then it's up to them. If not, it's up to them. It's their ocean. And they can do what they want. So that was my idea.
You see, I did a video said a little while ago about something that I never really realised happened. I mean, you've probably noticed that we're getting a lot more of these wind farms in the seas around the UK. Have you noticed them, Sid? Can you hear me, Sid?
I'm sure there are, but I mean...
Yeah. Well, basically offshore, especially in off the Wales coast, down North Wales, there's wind farms out in the sea. They're putting them out in the sea. But to clear these... What happened during World War II, there was sunk ships with ammunition on, there were bombs dropped, fell short, and in the great wisdom, the UK government decided to dump tons and tons of unexploded ordnance into the seas around the UK to get rid of them. And what they have to do now, and especially with more wind farms being built, is they've got to explode these bombs before they can, to make them safe, before they can set up these wind farms. And what these explosions are doing, and people don't realise this, is that underwater noise carries much further. They reckon it can go kilometres. And these explosions are actually scaring seals away from the pups on pupping season. So these young seal pups are like dying of starvation because the parents get frightened away. And it's actually deafening whales and dolphins. It's deafening them. And they reckon that's why a lot of these beaching events are happening now. Because they obviously they use the sonar to navigate. They can no longer hear it. They've been deafened by these explosions. And what's she called? What was she? Oh, she was absolutely fabulous. What's she called? The new Avengers said Purdy. What was she called? I can't remember her name. But she's campaign.
No, Emma Peel was the second one, wasn't she? I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember.
Emma Peel was the first one. Purdy.
I've got to thank God for the internet. Before this, we'd have to go to the bloody library. I can't remember her bloody name.
Joanna Lumley.
Joanna Lumley, thanks. You're quicker at Googling than
me.
No, that was Vegan Pixie Warrior.
Oh, thanks for the Vegan Pixie Warrior. Yeah, Joanna Lumley is actually doing a campaign because there is an alternative way to do this, but obviously it takes more time, but it's just as effective. And they put this charge inside the ordnance, inside the unexploded bombs, and it actually burns the explosives out without any explosion. Oh. But obviously, it's not as quick as going down, diving down, putting a charge down, blowing them up. It takes a little bit more time, and these companies want this. So,
yeah, you're right.
And that's happening at the moment. So that's something, and she's doing a big campaign to try and get this sorted out. Let's have a look. Imagine people trying to force vegan not have the right to choose to breathe normal. Oh, right, we're talking about things. I've just seen something. Ah, there we go. The 40-year-old vegan says, Rhys, are you planning to do outreach in Thailand? I'd imagine there's might be some difficulty.
Yeah, I'm not sure. In Chiang Mai, in the north of Thailand, they have AV. I don't know if it's running right now. And I figure, in a normal year, there would be a lot of tourists around, so I can speak to people in English, right? I am worried. I'm not sure what the law is. Sid will probably know a lot more than me. I don't know what the law is in Thailand. Like, I think protesting is illegal. I'm not sure. Oh, it's very, not advised. I'm thinking of
by Westerners or just in general?
In general, I think. They had a lot of protests recently.
Yes.
I don't know too much about it, to be honest. I don't know the legality of me doing outreach here, so I'm worried. I'm looking into Save. I'm still a bit worried there. But I think what I can do here is, for example, round the corner from me now is somewhere called Pata Zoo, which is supposedly the worst zoo in the world. It's got the only gorilla in Bangkok in it, and it's inside a mall. So I want to go in there, show what's going on, and make it bigger. Talk about zoochosis, right? Because I'm not sure. I probably can't help this specific animal, but if I can show this is what zoochosis looks like, which is where animals go crazy in zoos, it might influence more people to stop.
That's
going
terrible. I mean, you'll have to get some secret footage there. Try and.
I'll tell you what, this zoo is so bad they don't allow cameras inside. What kind of zoo doesn't allow a camera inside?
You'll have to get a GoPro and just.
I will.
I can help you a bit on that, Rhys.
Yeah.
I have some contacts in Bangkok who are activists, Thais, and I think some non-Thais do involved, and they have been working on about the gorilla and the zoo in the mall. So I can put you in touch with the people that may be able to help you do that. Really good people. One of them's an editor for one of the leading magazines, so they do have some influence. And so that's one thing I can do with the outreach. You'd have to, I don't think you could go, full on, but maybe you can. I can put you in touch with some activists in Bangkok. So they can make
excellent. I really appreciate that.
They have done a number of protests, and they have done, fur and meat is murder. And one of my friends owns a vegan diner in Bangkok, so I can put you in touch with her as well, who's involved regarding the gorilla.
Excellent. And also in Thailand, we have Songkran, which is the water festival, and oftentimes, and we have elephants, right? People riding elephants. They have bull hooks, which is like a stick, and imagine sort of what they call them, like a scythe, like a grim reaper. What do you call it?
Like a scythe. Yeah.
It is a scythe. Yeah, they've got like a little version of that to help. Like they hit the elephant to tell it where to go, kick their ears and things like that. And strangely enough, last time I was here, I was just vegetarian, and I went and I was told that these elephants are more like people and their dogs. They're like friends. But now watching the footage back from that time, I can see the hooks being used. And now I can't believe that I thought that was fine 2 years ago. So I want to show what's going on there. I think it's important to bring it back to a Western perspective too, simply because of my audience. I don't have much of an Asian audience. So saying, hey, this is going on in Songkran, most of my audience don't go to Songkran. So how can we compare that to what's going on in Britain or America or Australia?
I mean, just getting the message out there can open up a whole sort of chain reaction anyway, Rhys. Yeah. Once you get footage like that onto Western media, it's amazing who takes up the call. And I would be surprised if many Thais aren't aware of this that goes on. And, I remember being in Egypt, and they had little monkeys in bonobo monkeys, I think they were, in a cage on this this complex that we're on, and it was disgusting. It was disgusting, and there were no reason for them to be there. People very rarely walk past. I went past every day and gave them some banana and some fruit and stuff like that from the canteen. But it's just not a animals in entertainment are just a disgrace, and it should have been outlawed over 100 years ago. It shouldn't still be going on right now, especially with the circuses and even with these guys walking around with snakes to have photographs taken with them, and it's just what's the point? Whoa, look, there's a big snake, there's a picture, you have the photograph taken, there's my picture in a box, you never see it again. What a waste of time. It's just money in the pocket of the animal abuser, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, I think things are getting better, and there are more vegans. Veganism is becoming quite trendy now in Thailand. It's moving on. There are a lot more vegans in Thailand. People are actually speaking out for the animals, so that's good. I've written. Maybe I should do something more, because I've written articles for vegan magazines in the UK. So maybe I should I don't know. What are bonobos?
They're apes, not monkeys, apparently. Rhys Lever likes to correct me on everything I say.
Anyway, I think
Yeah, definitely.
a lot of humans are seen as commodities as well, really, aren't we? We're just seen as the plebs, while a very, very small percentage of people own most of the world, own the media, own social media, own the banks and all this. And people like us, most people, I mean, students go and study, they come out with a lifelong debt. So,
Yeah.
the world, I mean, if you think some people, small group of people, have enough money to live 100 lifetimes, yet every day 2,000 people die of starvation. There's a lot of injustice with humans as well. Obviously, I've always focused on animals, but even the downtrodden human beings, it's still tragic.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong on this planet. There's a lot of good people as well.
I think the only difference there is what happens to humans is vilified. Everyone knows it's wrong. With animals, not everybody's there yet. So for me, that's why it's important to speak for animals. For me,
yeah. Well, I always have. I mean, and for someone, you can see footage in slaughter places where people cutting throats, and they're just joking and laughing. They can't see that they're murdering a sentient being. Or you see, I don't know what her name is. There's some quite blonde girl who's with an elephant and a giraffe who she's just killed, and it's been a dream of, like posing. I'm thinking, how can you take the giraffe and feel proud of it? I can't compute that, and so we have to try and do that.
I know. I mean, you're really proud that you've been able to kill an animal with something that's taken like 200, 300 years to develop, which is designed to there's no skill in pointing a barrel and shooting a projectile into an animal that travels at supersonic speeds. It's like, what? What are you proud of? Go and kill it with your bare hands. And apart from the cruelty, I might be mildly impressed, but it won't happen. It won't happen. Yeah. I mean, there's something coming up, and I spoke to Rhys about it, and it started in LA, and it's the NARD, it's National Animal Rights Day, which is like a day event, and it's happening on the 6th of June this year, which is a Sunday in the UK. And it's going to be coincide with all over the world, different groups doing this action where we put on events, we talk to people, we speak to people, we put displays on and show the abuse that's going on. And they've asked me to speak at the Manchester one if we get it up and running. So I was doing a little bit of research, and I thought, I wonder how many animals actually die a day. Not die, are murdered a day in the world. And I got the figures, and they were absolutely astounding. I couldn't believe it. It's basically, all in all, on the food side of things, it's 200 million per day. 200 million a day. 178 million chickens, 11 million ducks, 4 million pigs, 3 million rabbits, 2 million geese, 2 million turkeys, 1.5 million sheep, 1.2 million goats, and 800,000 cows, and that's not including dairy cows. For fur, it's over 100 million a year, plus 1 billion rabbits for the fur industry, and testing, it's 100 million. It's absolutely astounding that every day, that are not yearly figures, those are daily figures, 365 days a year. That scale is breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. So this is what this National Animal Rights Day is all about, is highlighting this disgusting sort of, oh my God, it's just astounding. I couldn't believe it. I had to keep looking at the figures over and over and thinking, that can't be right. And it works out at 388,888 animals a minute. And we're not even That's a minute of every day of every month of every year.
And those are just land animals, right? What you read out.
Just land animals. We're not even counting the fish. And I didn't even count the fur and testing in that. So you can double that, because that's another 200 million. So you're talking 700,000 a minute are being murdered. So while we've been talking, I'm not even going to do the maths because I can't, number one. And but even while we've been talking, it's like every minute 700,000 animals are murdered for nothing more than taste, pleasure, fashion, clothes, products, makeup, whatever. It's just amazing. It's
all things
amazing.
that are unnecessary.
And you can see certain trends, like what's that? Canada Goose, where famous people wear a Canada Goose coat. I think Attenborough, with what is it? They've got a coyote around it. Again, they trap them, don't they?
Well, 40-year-old vegan who has a channel, so please guys go over and subscribe, and his girlfriend Michelle, who Labrosse,
business partner. Actually, I got it wrong before. I think it's like partners in crime type of thing.
Partners in crime. Well, Michelle actually, the last stream I did, I jokingly said, right, I want a $5 for every subscriber that goes over to Michelle's channel. And she honoured that and sent 85 quid to Pigs in the Wood. So she actually honoured that. But they're in Canada at the moment, Sid, and they're campaigning for fur over there. They're campaigning against it because, of course, Canada was actually, that was the main industry. It was actually founded on fur in Canada. So, yeah, they really are sort of swimming against the tide over there. Let's have a look. Leon, I did a little equation on a post some time ago, and that was animals per second solely abused for consumption. Oh, mate, send it over to me. That'll be really interesting to use that, mate, because my maths ain't great. Any more questions? Let's have a look. I think I realised... Oh, right, okay, there's an argument going on there. Yeah, we love the arguments in the chat. Level Joy. It's been a while, but I think Berenboss, it was specifically for bears used in entertainment. It was a year ago, so I might be wrong. That might be some sort of thing about using bears, because I know there was some videos up about them releasing bears in Russia. I think holding bears and stuff like that is big in Russia at the moment, or has been big. But that's amazing. That's amazing. Per second would be such like a... You couldn't imagine that, really. So, yeah, send me that one over. Any more questions? Any more questions? Because it's getting late for my two friends. One needs to get to bed early to keep the beauty sleep. And that's certainly not Sid. It's definitely going to be Rhys, who needs to go to bed early. He's got things to do.
Yeah.
Any more questions up there? So, Sid... you're not coming back to the UK. You're going to set up once. I mean, we're out of lockdown, supposedly, in June with no going back. So that might be an ideal time to sort of start getting this thing together that you want to do. Obviously, you couldn't do it because of lockdown, but are you going to do this? Are you going to set up this holiday?
Obviously, I'm going to look what's happening. At the present moment, the island's dead. You know, a lot of businesses are closing, but many bars are struggling on, and they're just getting the few locals that are here. A lot of people went back. If things open up, then I will design a few vegan tours and invite my friends or anybody who wants to go. And if anyone wants to volunteer, if the sanctuaries open up, then I'll help them get into the sanctuaries and volunteer. A lot depends, because everyone was told Christmas it's going to be open, and suddenly it closed. I mean, I don't want to be doom and gloom, but suddenly a new dangerous strain could come, and then it could be delayed. So nobody's going to invest any money in things at the moment. And of course, if things open up, anyone who knows me is welcome over. I'll sort you out. I'll help you.
So how do people contact you, Sid? I think you're on Facebook, aren't you? You're on
Instagram
I think as well?
I've page Psycho Sid on Facebook, Sid Barnes on Facebook. there's always a way of getting in touch. And I'll always help anyone come and live the dream. If anyone wants to live here permanently, I can make that happen too. People who've got kids at the present moment, people who've got kids, it's open now. Education visas, international flights are allowed. So if someone's got a kid and they want to take the kid to an international school, I can make it happen. I think it costs about 250 quid for a month for the kid to study privately, which isn't bad at all actually, on a tropical island. And you for a couple of £100 you can get an air conditioned house. There's one for less than about 350, 2 bedrooms, fully furnished with a big swimming pool for 300.
Oh mate, I could put short pants on for that. I could do with some education. I'll come over and go to school.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
It's good. If it opens up, all them prices will not. These are COVID prices, of course, because there's no one here.
Strains will keep coming in. Draconian measures will keep going until people stand up for the right instead of behaving like domesticated cattle. Rhys, we're still arguing over this mask wearing stuff. I think Sid's with you on that one, but
as far as I'm concerned, I try to. I personally, unless I'm going into a shop and I'm not allowed in, and I can't. In the UK, I never wore a mask. I wore the mask on the aeroplane because they wouldn't have let me on otherwise. And here, I don't wear a mask. I like to breathe in, but if people want to wear a mask, that's up to them. I mean, I can understand there's a lot of political things. I'm trying to keep out of this. I'm just going to try to help the animals, write my book. Personally, I wear a mask if I'm forced to wear one, but otherwise, if I'm going in a shop and they say you've got to wear a mask or I can't go in, it's not the UK, so there's no badges of exempt and all that lot. I mean, I can get because I have a narrow windpipe after the cancer, so I actually was one of the people that my doctor, my GP in the UK, said do not wear a mask because what is it? Stenosis of the trachea, which is a narrower windpipe, and he said it's not going to help you. So I got a letter from the doctor and I got a card. Even so, some people were so angry. Why are you wearing a mask? You're murdering people. I said, I've been told by the doctor not to wear one. So in certain circumstances, the people are very, very divided on this. And people want to wear a mask. I personally would prefer not to, but I do understand people are afraid, they're panicking, they don't want to catch this virus, and and if they feel that you're spreading it and bringing it in, then they're going to be angry with you. Whereas certain people cannot wear a mask, and I'm one of them. But to get here, I had no choice to wear it really. And I don't think they have an exemption mask in Thailand, card in Thailand. But most people on the island don't.
I think people may. I've got a funny feeling people are going to have an inoculation card to get. But those have been about for a while. I mean, if you visit certain countries, you've got to have had a rabies jab and a yellow fever jab, and you've got to have a pass for those. So it's going to be very similar to that. And if you haven't got your COVID vaccination card, you're not going to be able to travel. And I think that's fair.
Will he take it to the next level where you won't be able to go in the supermarket, you won't be able to get a job? Will the? I mean, you've got so many arguments. I've seen arguments between vegans. I'm vegan. They've experimented on all them animals. I'm not having it. And I've had other vegans opposite. Well, we do the best we can as we're vegans. I keep out of all that now. And there are no longer, and the vaccine companies all make trillions out of it. If you're damaged and it's proved you're damaged, they don't have to pay you a penny. So, there are certain things that are wrong, and I'm not telling people whether to get the vaccine or whether not to get the vaccine. But certainly, I think you're right there, my mate, that there will be some kind of restrictions for people who haven't had the vaccine. Whether that's right or not, I don't know.
Until the next one. That is all I've got to say on the matter is, let's get this out of the way.
Yeah, but then there's another one. Hang on. You take the vaccine, but it won't stop you getting. It will not stop you getting it, and it won't stop you spreading it, and you'll still have to wear a mask and social distance. There's a lot of complex things, and I'm right on the fence. I'm not going to tell anyone what to do. I'm focusing on the animals. I'm focusing on trying to get my friends here and write books. But it's easy to follow the mainstream narrative. Okay, obey, do what you tell. But you should think, what are the long term? What are the long term? They don't know any long term results. Now, many of my friends are up for the vaccine and they say, okay, a bit, and it'll get us out of the lockdown, and we're up for it. And on the other side, there are some that are totally opposed to it. So it's not easy. It's one of these things that.
Rhys, sorry to interrupt, Rhys. Yeah, Pixie's right. You've got to be careful what you're putting on the chat here, because the algorithm is, again, control, mate, control. The algorithm is looking out for stuff like this and could demonetize me, and it might cause me problems. So you've just got to be careful what you type. That's all. So just be careful, Rhys, mate. For me, please. Sorry, Sid. Yeah, and that's another thing.
Like you, try and be reasonable. My whole being gives out compassion, love, and I can see a lot of bad things in the world. Maybe the vaccines aren't perfect. Maybe people think this is the only way we're going to get out. The other side will be thinking, oh well, it'll be one vaccine, two vaccines, then it'll be you need three. I don't know, but I'm just saying, I'm just sending out love and compassion. If you've had a vaccine and you want a vaccine and you're vegan and you're my mate, I still love you. If you don't want a vaccine and you're vegan and you're my mate, I still love you. That's
the way it is. I mean, I won't judge anybody for taking the vaccine. No, I am personally going to take the vaccine. The last thing I want is to go and visit my mother and father. My father's like clinging on to life at the moment. He's got like tubes in his kidneys. He's lost his bladder many years ago through cancer. The last thing I want on my conscience is to go and say, hello, mum, dad, and then get a phone call and say, oh, your mum and dad have died of COVID. And it's like, do I really want that? I don't think anybody is not vegan if they don't take the vaccine. There's no question about that. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where we've got to suck it up for the sake of the greater good of society, unfortunately. I think what we can do to counteract that and the yin and yang thing is to do more and more outreach and explain more and more to the people out there that their food choices are causing these pandemics. That is what we need to do to even out this karma of taking this vaccine, is to say, people, if you want to get locked down, and we should target the younger people, because it's the younger people who are suffering the most. I would hate to have been 16 to 25 years old during this lockdown. It would have drove me crazy. You know, it's just like, I couldn't imagine being locked up for nearly a year like this. In fact, I wouldn't. I would have gone out and met my mates. I would have gone, fuck this. You know, I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. I'm being honest. I wouldn't. I would not have obeyed this lockdown because I've always been anti-authority anyway. So, yeah, it's...
For 25, though, you've got more chance of dying from falling down the stairs than you have of COVID.
Yeah,
exactly. 99.99. So people with underlying symptoms, like myself, maybe a weak immune system after what I've been through, maybe I'd danger. But I'd rather die. Rather than living a free life, I'd rather die I'd rather die. I need my freedom, but that's me. But yeah, and there is, as you say, if... Okay, I'm just reading some of the comments. Yeah,
that's fine, mate. Yeah.
No animals should be abused, of course.
Silence is Violence says not just food in general, but fur farms, zoos, etc. Of course, yeah. I mean, we're not saying that. We're not excluding those either. Everything, any sort of. I mean, I never knew this, and it was an amazing fact. But the human race did not have the common cold until we domesticated horses. The common cold came from horses, and I never knew that. And that's an amazing fact, that this common cold that we accept as a normality came from us domesticating the horses and abusing the horses. It's like, wow, it just shows you. And this is why these tribes that live out in the rainforest that have never been contacted by humans, they leave them alone, because the minute we come near them, we spread diseases to them that they've never come in contact with in their lives. You know, it just proves the point. It just proves the point.
We've also got the seasonal flu, which I think is from pig farming.
And I just put a video up the other day about foot and mouth disease, and that was initiated twice. Once in 1967 when I was born. It was a very good year apart from foot and mouth disease. It was nothing to do with me being born. It wasn't like The Omen. There wasn't choirs singing when I was born and thunder and lightning. But that one in 1967 was feeding Argentinian beef to pigs, and then the one in 2001 was caused by the farmer feeding raw sewage to the pigs. It was like, wow. And then the CJD was caused by them feeding meat to cows.
Yeah, feeding cows to cows.
Oh my God.
I was researching that today, actually.
Yeah.
Researching, it's all prion disease and things. And the thing is, if you have a folded prion protein in your brain, it can take years for symptoms to show, 4 or 5 years. So if that happens in a cow, maybe they eat an infected cow, they're not going to show symptoms for 4 or 5 years, but they're also not going to live that long anyway. So the illness is never picked up by the farmer, and that's how it gets into humans.
You know, and it's mad, innit? It's like, wow. It's just, farmers are going to cut corners. Farmers are always going to cut corners, you know. The local mobsters will say, can you get rid of this dead body we've just done over, you know, and feed it to the pigs. It's like, they're going to cut corners, and you cannot police all these farms, and there's going to be more of this. Farmers, they're working really hard, long hours, tough shit, pick a different industry, but they're not getting a lot of reward for it. And if they can cut a few corners and feed them some shit that they found somewhere, some radioactive stuff from Sellafield or Chernobyl, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Leon saying? Wait, what? What's he saying that about?
About...
Is it the common cold? Yeah.
I think so.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it astounded me that. Yeah. Look it up, guys. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I'm sure I saw that somewhere, that the common cold came from horses. And before that we didn't have it. Not even mentioning how easy the meat industry it makes to spread diseases quickly. Yeah, of course. We keep them confine other animals, which cause them stress and destroys the immune system. They pass this on. But I mean, even without that, I mean, I don't know whether people are aware that we actually import from the Netherlands, of all places, human shit to put on our fields. Tons and tons and tons of human poop to put on our fields to grow crops. And what's in that human poop? Antibiotic residue. And the same with the animal poop. It's got antibiotic residue. That is washing down into our rivers, and they've now got antibiotic-resistant microbes that are being discovered in the guts of surfers. So yeah, mate, I've opened up a whole can of worms about this, and this is what's happening with the antibiotics. It's like, it's amazing. How does my crap taste? Let's just say don't have a beetroot, you know? Don't have a beetroot. But, actress Leon correctly, she'll have a hissy fit. Right. I don't know what's going on there. Well, I know it's late for you guys, so is there anything else you wanna get off your chest, speak about, let people know what's coming in the future? Rhys, what have you got planned, mate? Have we got any great videos to see? Are you going to get trolled again?
Probably. I've got one hopefully coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day of February. So it's your top 10 facts about dairy you never knew. And there's a little bit there about mad cow disease, which is why I knew that. And I think it's a lot of fun, a lot of good. I think it's good professional looking editing in there. I'm really proud of this one. hopefully I can pull it off. In the future, I've got a couple of projects. I want to go out and do things instead of just doing things from the computer. So we're talking about Patazu, talking about Songkran. Going to try to find these monkeys who are made to collect coconuts. I believe that's going on in Thailand. And just look for opportunities while I'm in this part of the world. Make the most of it. What can I film here that I can't film if I go back to the UK?
It will be interesting actually to see the lifestyle. I would love for you just to do a tour and show us what you do in the day, like from getting up. What do you do? What does your life? I'm really interested in that. There's a guy I watch, and he's over. I think he's in Korea. I'm not sure South Korea. I can't remember his name now. He comes on my stream sometimes, and it's just I just love watching him. He says, "Right now we're going to go to the beach," and he's got a drone. And he does drone shots of the area, and it's really nice just to see a different aspect of life. Vegan really says human manure is good fertilizer as long as it's not got antibiotics in it. But you tell me how many humans are taking antibiotics. The first thing a doctor does when you go in with a chest infection, something like that, is give you antibiotics. It's just like you're never going to get poop without antibiotics in. What's everyone's thoughts on NASA going to Mars to colonize it? Colonize it, for God's sake. What are your thoughts on that?
I have a very strong feeling we're going to take some farm animals over there too. I bet you. It's going to happen. I know it.
I mean, is it lighter gravity over there? It's a smaller planet, so will the gravity be less?
I don't know.
So maybe they can grow giant pigs and they can grow, but I really do believe that there's been life on Mars. I think that we're going to discover that there was a lot more life on Mars than we actually gave it credit for, because it did actually have running water and an atmosphere. So,
yeah,
so there could well be some things. But I think it's great that we're exploring space. I'm not anti sort of space exploration. I mean, I wouldn't like us to go and fuck up the rest of the universe like we're fucking up this planet. However, I think it's really cool, and I'm really interested in it and engrossed in space travel. I always have been since I was a little kid, because I remember watching the first space landings. I'm sure you do as well, Sid. When 1967 I was born, so we saw the 1970 landings, and
69 the moon landing.
69, yeah. So yeah, I'm really interested in it, and I really do hope they find things out, and I hope they do find life. Let's have a look. Any more questions? What medicine do they feed them?
Feed who?
I think they're on about farm animals.
Well, obviously they're going to put antibiotics because they don't want them to get disease. So because it's all about profits, and I'm sure they're going to be feeding them growth hormones as well, so they weigh more, so they get more money. It's all about money. And when we talk about humans messing up this planet, it's not usually people like me and you. It's just the huge corporations who don't give a shit, and they program us to have KFC. They don't care about the rainforest. They pollute the oceans. They dig the forest. They put all the chemicals in all the food, and then they try and bet all humans are messing up the planet. Not the humans. The small group of people who own everything. They're the people. It's not me and you that are messing it up.
Leon, I can't do it from StreamYard, mate. I'm having a look how I can do it, but I don't think I can mod you for. Just give us the overall, the total per second of animals. Somebody just said something, and it's here it is. Now this has made me think a little bit differently on this actually. Where is it? It's just disappeared. I wish things had stopped moving for me. Right, yeah, this is it. NASA and Elon Musk are wasting money on Mars instead of fixing the Earth climate change. Maybe that might be another side to the coin, but how they're going to fix it with money, I do not know. It's not about fix it. It's about us stopping eating animals. Is one of the biggest things we can do about that. So I don't know how they could actually help there.
I mean, 18% of global greenhouse gas emissions. You know what I'm trying to say? 18% comes from animal ag, which is the most out of anything, more than transportation and things like that. But we have still got 82% to play with, which I can guarantee Elon Musk and that they don't care. They still want to eat meat, right? So they're not going to bother with that. But they could probably put their money into inventing something to put on a car exhaust to clean it more than a catalytic converter, or all these different areas. They could clean the water, perhaps. They could take the plastic out of the ocean. So there are things they could do with their money.
Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk didn't he develop the electric car? Was that Tesla? Am I getting mixed up with Tesla? Didn't Elon Musk?
He made the Tesla car, yeah.
So and I think the British government has decreed that we no more petrol engine cars, diesel engine cars will be sold after 2030. I'm thinking, or is it a bit later than that? So that we are making jumps forward, but again, if people want to worry about the environment and sort the environment out, the best thing you can possibly do is just to stop, as one person, is to stop buying animal products.
Absolutely.
Boycott the industry. That's the most important thing you can do. Even above getting rid of cars and going on foreign holidays, above all that will reduce your carbon footprint massively.
72%, I believe, going vegan.
It's unreal, isn't it? It's absolutely unreal. Yeah, I saw that remote controlling pigs with his dollar. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So that's not a good thing, is it? So I mean,
maybe fix wasn't the right word. Yeah, reduce climate change. Yeah.
These people that Elon Musk, who's shown as a really cool guy and everything. It's all about money, power, and control, and to remote control pigs. Who wants to do that to another living being? He's not. I mean, all this money. Why doesn't he feed the starving kids in Africa?
Yeah.
4.7 animals a second are murdered. And is that, Leon? Is that just land animals? Is that without the fish? Because you put 150 billion. Because I think it's 3 trillion in it. Yeah, it's definitely without the fish. 150 billion a year is, 4.7 animals a second. It's just astounding figures. Climate will only be fixed with systematic change or mass disaster. I think we're heading towards mass disaster, mate.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're going at the moment. If people don't just click out of this brainwashing they've been indoctrinated in. Isn't
this something like... It's like 8 years, isn't it, to completely stop what we're doing now? If we carry on like we are, in 8 years, climate change is unavoidable.
Yeah, because they were talking about the tipping point, which was like...
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
2.8 degrees or something like that, and I think we've gone over halfway to that now. And that will mean that is it the Arctic or the Antarctic that is sea ice?
Isn't it? Elon Musk tested on pigs to see if humans can have chips in the brain. Nothing would surprise me anymore. The way the world's gone bonkers. Nothing is surprising.
It's 4,056. Oh my god!
That's horrific.
Right, so I got that completely wrong. It wasn't 4 point something animals a second, which was bad enough. It's 4,056 animals per second. Oh my god! 4,056 animals a second. Oh my god, it was bad enough when I thought it was 4. Jesus Christ. That is wild. That is wild. We can never bring back all the plant and animal species we've eliminated. Not unless we go down the Jurassic Park lines, but we don't want to do that, do we? It's 4,756 animals per second. I'm Dutch. Our dots are used differently. Okay. Yeah, watch what you do with your dots. It can cause all sorts of confusions. Not worry. Thanks for that, Leon. That's appreciated. Right, well, listen, guys. I'm going to end it there. We've been talking for nearly 2 hours. And it's been great listening to both your stories. It's great. I'm so jealous that you sat there in your vests and your t-shirts and you've got a little bit of sweat over your brow, and it's like,
Well,
I
it's
really
like,
am.
I mean, a massive tropical garden, and it's, if I can help people come here, and anyway, I will do, and help them to volunteer. I'm out exploring every day. I found a lovely little beach today, relaxed beach, and it was, I don't know, maybe just more than a football field, maybe two, and it was just pure white sand. And the thing that always it still surprises me, even though I've lived a long time in the tropics, I roll my jeans up, should be wearing shorts really, but I roll my jeans up and walk into the sea, and the sea laps my toes, and it's like warm water. Not like brass monkey freezing cold water
Oh,
in Blackpool.
stop it, Sydney! Stop it!
And so, yeah, I mean, and especially for you, Rhys, I do have a lot of contacts. I have people with take care of elephants, because now, because of tourism, a lot of elephants have been given to sanctuaries, and
Oh, good.
yeah, I've got guys that work with the government and this, and they've got sanctuaries now.
You know,
Yeah.
I've looked at elephant sanctuaries, and that word sanctuary is misused here a lot, I think. I believe you that this is a real one, but you can go to a sanctuary and ride an elephant in many places.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one, no, there's no riding. What you've got to go to an ethical place, because you shouldn't be washing elephants and riding them. And what they've done is, because people now are becoming more aware, they're just doing the same thing, but putting the name rescue, sanctuary, retirement. No, the guy I talked about has been involved 40 years now. Something surprised me, and he said the amount of monkeys picking coconuts is minimal. Maybe two farms in Thailand, but it just went crazy. And now all these monkeys have got nowhere to go and nothing to do. And this was an animal rights person who's been involved in animal rights in the Far East for 40 years. The guy was up in arms. Monkeys shouldn't be exploited climbing trees. Now he's got a problem with 2 farms of monkeys that have had to go. I think it was only 2 farms. The rest of it was people collecting, and it was exaggerated wildly. So I don't know. That's what I was told.
You've got so much material off this, Rhys. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
I can put you in touch now where they've got a tiger. I can put you in touch where they save the cobras.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, loads of things. Hornbills, the beautiful birds. I've got all the contacts for all that.
I'd really appreciate that, Sid. We're friends on Facebook, aren't we? Even though we've never spoken before.
I met Psycho Sid at LABL in Liverpool and GVG at Vigil in Manchester. Just got to catch Rhys maybe at Vegan Campout, and I'll have the whole set. Oh, right, Gecko.
All right. I've got 2 geckos on my wall now.
I will be at Vegan Campout, so definitely try to find me.
Can we share a tent?
If we can go top and tail, yeah.
What do you mean? You'll have one of them big posh ones, like sleeps about 85 men. You'll have servants. It's truly insane how many get murdered for the flesh. If I had animals who are used for skin, ivory, such, then the numbers was, and if you put fish and sea animals in there, it'll be absolutely unreal. My mum got food at Costco, and one of them is from Thailand, not coconut, but something else. Should I not trust anything from Thailand? What do you 2 guys think of that?
To my knowledge, it's the same as importing from any country.
You're taking a risk with anything, aren't you?
About any country, really, couldn't you? I'm sure, You're
never going to be able to buy anything with confidence and know unless you go to the source where they pack it themselves. Unfortunately, it's all a big chain. Let's have a look. I'm ignoring important points. I'm sorry, mate. I don't know what points you're talking about.
Make your important point, and I'll try and answer it. And we'll all try and answer it. Just give us a couple of important points, right? And I'm on the fence.
Look. Right, here we go. I think this is what it might talk. Going on about climate change without addressing geoengineering and weather modification is just like ignoring animal agriculture about it. So I'm not very well versed in addressing geoengineering and weather modification. I've never looked into it, mate.
Well, all I can say, and I think if you research, people are, they have messed about with the weather. They will put things into the clouds to make rain. How much they're doing it, I mean, we see all these films and pictures of people doing this, showing trails from planes that they're spraying the atmosphere. Uh, Other people have more knowledge than me about that, but I'm a bit of a tinfoil hatter, I suppose. I'm always thinking, do these people who own like the 1%, they don't want to give that up and they don't want to give the power up. Do they really care about us? Do they give a shit? They'll blame us for climate change. It's not us that have done it. It's them with the massive corporations, oil, who've done all this. Not us, the normal people who just about survive. Uh, yeah, I actually think there's a lot more going on than we know. And it wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me if people are trying to modify the weather. And look, already they're genetically modifying so many plants. They're spraying pesticides on. Most of the soya in the world is genetically modified. Is that a good thing? I prefer not to eat it. But that's my take. Reese, Reese and grumpy vegan granddad may feel differently. What do you
Well,
think?
Well, to start with, Rhys, I don't ignore anybody's points. I'm trying to have a conversation with two people and look at the chat as well. It's a hard juggling act. I'm ADHD, so I get distracted quite easily and move on to the next. So I don't ignore anybody on the chat. I don't ignore anybody's points. Sometimes I get distracted. I think of something else. Oh, look, a butterfly. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's completely gone out my head. So don't ever think that I'm ignoring anybody on here. Just put your comments in again and repeat them, and I will eventually get round to it. Personally, this whole geoengineering, this weather modification, I need to see proof. I can't make any decision unless I see someone presents me with undeniable proof. It
Well,
could
they
be a
are
thing.
genetically modifying. It's already
Oh
admitted that.
yeah, yeah, genetically
Yeah.
modifying. But I mean, genetically modifying something. I mean, we're sort of decimating the soils now, and maybe we need to do something with crops to. I mean, they say that a tomato has got 20% of the nutrients that it did have 40, 50 years ago because we've decimated the soil that much, and a lot of it's to do with sheep farming because they actually chew the cud and the grass can't regrow, and that causes soil erosion. Sheep are the biggest causes of soil erosion. There's a lot of things we've done, and sometimes maybe we've got to put a finger in a few pies to change things around for the greater good. I don't know, but my concentration is on trying to get people to change their eating habits, the habits of what they buy to wear, what they use, the makeup, where they get the toiletries from. That's my concern at the moment, is trying to stop this mass murder of sentient loving animals. So I can't distract myself with other things like all these theories and the COVID thing. I just want to concentrate on what I'm doing on, and that's all I can do at the moment. But definitely, yeah, it's interesting to look into. What about you, Rhys?
I can easily get out of my depth when we get into the environment. I understand some surface level stuff. I can go a little bit deeper, but when we're starting to talk about weather modification and things, geoengineering and things like that, like I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. Although I do know that some large scale farmers are somehow able to fly up into the clouds, and I think they set off some kind of spark, and it does make it rain. I think that's a real thing. Pretty sure I've seen a
Yeah,
video on it.
and I've learnt about these where they drop these foil things and induce rain. Yeah, and it is a
That must
thing.
be it.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and they do that. They do that to induce rain for these countries that are having massive droughts. So
Okay.
as far as I know, I'm guessing some. I soak things up sometimes, me. I soak them up, and then this information will come out, and I don't know where I've got it from. I don't know where I've heard it, but I've seen it, and that's the way I sort things up. Sometimes it's just like I happen to see something.
Yeah.
Sheep that are bred for wool cause soil erosion, or other sheep that haven't been bred yet. Cause I don't know whether they cause soil erosion. Killing sheep causes my soul to erode. Let's put it that way. Psycho Sid is spot on all about money and greed and control. Great interview. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Even though it was Rhys's and Sid decided to jump in after he got his technophere sorted out. You're talking about cloud seeding. That's 1960s and 70s tech. They're doing way more than that now. Well, see, I'm a 70s kid, you know. I'm a 70s kid. I still play Pac-Man, you know what I mean? So
yeah, me too.
Right, well, let's end it there because I know it's getting late and I can see Rhys's eyes are getting redder and baggier as the evening's gone on. Sid's still buzzing off his fruitarian diet, so he's
No,
good to go for a long time yet.
The dragon before it came on. I am joking.
But listen,
all I'll be doing in the future is I'm finishing off my second book, Staying Alive. I've just finished chapter 7. The dog is at it again, and I can see the time up there. We've got 4 minutes to go, and Rhys's red eyes. Weed? Have you been on the weed? My sky blue eyes. That top.
It's plant-based though, right?
It's all plant-based. But listen, thanks for everybody for joining the chat and putting your comments in and fighting in the comments. We all like a little bit of a fight in the comments. I've got Rhys's animal clock there. Thanks for that, Rhys. I didn't even notice you sent me that comment. But listen, please follow Sid on Facebook and I think he's on Insta. Please follow Rhys's YouTube channel. I think Sid's got a YouTube channel. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm just so overwhelmed with so much that's going on. But I think it's called Psycho Sid, I think, and I've got a few videos of sunsets. I've got some adventure to a waterfall and things like that through a jungle. So, you know, if you look there, I've not really pushed it. I might have about 3 followers. No, I've got about 80 followers or something, but I've not pushed it. I've no time to focus on it and do all the editing because it's a full-time job. Once you start going down, putting the nails, I've no time for it, man. I've got to write my book, and I'm also doing ebooks about different places. But it's brilliant to meet you, Rhys, and we'll meet on my island and take you and your girlfriend. Will your girlfriend be with you?
Yeah, she'll come. It's excellent
to meet you, Sid. I can't wait to see this.
I speak Chinese as well. Ni hao, wo jiao Sid. We're in.
我可以说一点点中文。
一点点, a little, I know this.
Yeah.
You know what I need, you'll be all right.
What I need, yeah. Well, yeah, I need.
Ni hum Pyongyang. You're very beautiful.
Pretty. Yeah.
Right, while these two are having a Chinese bromance, I will say goodbye to everybody. And thank you for joining. And don't forget, next week I've got Last of the Summer Vegan Wine. It'll be advertised soon. And it's Ronnie, Roger, and Michelle Lowe. And we're going to be talking about the 70s. So, we're going to be talking about activism in the 70s, life in the 70s, 80s. We're going to have a lot of chat on that one. So get ready for that one. That will be next Saturday at 6 p.m. But thank you for joining.
Mandarin.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.